So you've got an idea for a digital product. Maybe it hit you in the shower or during a rage scroll through a subreddit where people in your niche were being wrong. Or maybe you're like me and you're tired of every first hour of every client call is about the same topic, and you think, wouldn't it be easier if I just had this as a digital product that I can sell instead, so that we can hit the ground running with every new client instead of needing to do the same thing every time you talk to a new client. But how do you take that idea and turn that into a product that actually sells online and isn't just a PDF that's collecting dust somewhere on a website somewhere or on a Gumroad archive page that nobody goes to? I'm sure you want to create a product that people thank you for making and actually pay you to get their hands on. So in this video, I'm breaking down my entire digital product creation process from idea to launch so that you can hit the ground running on your digital product business. There's no fluff in here, just a framework with some strategy that I've used in the last 15 years of creating products for my niche audience in the audio space. So this has all been battle tested throughout the years over and over again, and it's become a framework that I use all the time when I want to create a new digital product. All right, step number 1, start with the customer. You want to survey your audiences because they will give you the gold mine you need to create a product that they actually want. You want to be able to read their mind because everything they tell you is gold for you in order to understand exactly what their problems are and how you can solve it for them. So the first thing I do is I send out a survey to my audience and I ask a simple question. What is the biggest problem you are currently having with topic? The topic being whatever it is I want to create a product on. In my case, it's usually audio production or mixing music or releasing your records. In your case, it could be anything relevant to your niche. I survey my audience because I want to know the exact words they are using to describe their problems so that I can fully understand what exactly is getting in the way of them reaching their goals or achieving what they want to achieve. And it gives me ideas for products or for ways to help them out that I may not have fully thought through beforehand. Because if I'm just going with my gut, it's not always super reliable. I want to think that I'm maybe pretty in tune with my audience, but it's always best to go to the source. 2 fun things that I do with survey responses is that if I get a lot of them, I sometimes take the entire column in Google Docs and I'll paste them into a word cloud generator, and they'll give me like the most common words my audience uses to describe their problems or the biggest topic that's on everybody's mind. For instance, when I created the drum mix toolkit, which is an ebook plus a series of videos to help people make their drums sound better in the studio, I had copied that entire survey response column into a word cloud. And one of the biggest things there was the word mixing and drums. And so I thought, well, a lot of people are struggling to mix drums. It is one of the most difficult processes, or it can be very challenging to do right. So I thought, hey, I have lots of tips and processes to help them out with. So I'll put that into a product and see if they like that. Another thing you can do in today's artificial intelligence age is that you can just paste all of the survey responses into an AI and ask it to analyze it for you. It will usually give you a pretty deep and thoughtful analysis of what your audience is struggling with. This is really great if you end up with, like me, thousands of survey responses and you don't want to read through them all. You just want to really see what exactly the through line in the survey responses are. And so that's a really good way to use AI for market research. If you want more information on how to do market research with AI, do let me know in the comments below, and I will put that in the pipeline to make a video about. And so these survey responses become my product roadmap, or my idea generation roadmap in a way, to figure out what product I should focus on next and what the product they want. And it also is my copywriting cheat sheet because it allows me to understand what words I should be using to describe their problems, and that will go into all of my marketing messaging, my sales page copy, and things like that. It will kind of make the sales page sound like I'm reading their mind, because I kind of did, because I asked them ahead of time. That brings me to step number 2. Once you have all that information, you want to design the product for human consumption, not for robots. And so when I know what problem I'm trying to solve and how people talk about it, I'll often ask myself, what is the easiest and fastest way to teach this to my audience? I'm not thinking about the most impressive way I can make a product, or I'm not trying to make the longest, most in-depth product in the world either. In fact, I have found that the longer the course, the less likely people are to purchase it unless they are very, very committed to learning that topic, because most people just want quick fixes and they want to solve their problems fast. And so I focus on the simplest and most digestible format for my audience. And I know my audience well enough, and they like a combination of a few different things. Any product I create these days is multimedia. So it's usually a blend of a video training, a downloadable of some sort, and even a tool, if that makes sense. For instance, my Easy Mix Approach product has a 2-hour masterclass on how to set up a mix template, which is a common topic that people love to know more about. It's a way for them to be more effective and efficient in the studio, and helps them finish their music faster. And so when I created the Easy Mix Approach, I thought a class on how to create a mixing template would be useful to them, but I also wanted to give them a downloadable mix template that they can immediately use, so that if they didn't want to watch the 2-hour masterclass, they could just download my template and get right to work. Another example of a multimedia product is my compression formula, which consists of my compression course, which teaches audio engineers, musicians, and producers how to use compression. And it has an in-depth course on how to understand compression and how to use it in your mixes, but it also includes an audio issues comp, the actual software compressor that they can then use. And that is a teaching tool as well that helps them understand compression while they're working on music. I find that tools are super helpful and much more desirable to buy than just the knowledge of how to do something. So if you can combine those two things, that's the best of both worlds, and that makes the perceived value of your product much higher. And then step number 3, ask yourself, if your product was a video game, what side quests could you offer? That question may shed some light on what kind of bonuses you can offer with your core product. And I'm not talking about some like random bonuses that are slapped on the page with a $297 price tag in order to sort of inflate the value of the original product or the package itself. I'm talking about real bonuses that actually sell a side problem they may run into when they are using your core product to solve their problem. For instance, in my Expert Home Vocals course, which is an ebook and video course bundle, it also includes a bonus buyer's guide that helps them set up their home studio and get the biggest bang for their buck when they're buying gear for their studio. It's sort of a home studio gear setup checklist that helps them get everything they need to set up to record vocals more professionally. And you see this in other niches all the time. For instance, I bought a course, a small video course on how to use storytelling in email marketing. So he was teaching email marketing, and one of the bonuses he offered was a swipe file of high converting subject lines, so that that was a bonus that was included in the email marketing product, because that person knew that if you're writing emails, the subject line is super important and actually warrants its own bonus and its own sort of focus. So each bonus you offer has to be saying, hey, I know what else is going to trip you up. I've got your back. I've got this too. I'm going to include it for free so that you can hit the ground running and get started immediately. I don't want this particular thing to be a roadblock for you. That brings me to step 4, making it look cool, because the design does matter even if it is a digital product. And no, you don't have to break the bank for this. You don't have to hire an expensive designer. You can get away with this for cheap with modern tools. In the past, I've both used 99 Designs for my product covers, but I've also designed some of my own product designs on Canva using all the available tools Canva has to offer, of which there are many. And it doesn't have to be super complicated. A sleek laptop with a coarse home homepage on the screen is often enough. You could just simply take a screenshot of the homepage of your course and put that into a frame of kind of a laptop frame they have included in Canva, and you can put the name of the product in a nice font on top. That can usually be enough. Just something that makes it look real. You want it to look cool because people buy with their eyes just as much as they buy with emotions. We're visual creatures. We like seeing a 3D mock-up of something even though we know that we won't get it in the mail. It's really about first impressions and having a semblance of a brand that sort of looks like it's something cool that's desirable for your audience to buy. All right, that brings me to step number 5, creating an automated sales system. Once I have my product that I've created after market research of my audience and a cool 3D mock-up of it, and plus all the bonuses and a good way to deliver it to people via either video or written content or software tool or of some sort, I put that all together and I hook it all up to my course software. In this case, I use Kajabi. Sometimes I use Sendal if I'm selling software. And I put a sales page together that I build in Kajabi. I use email automations through Kajabi, sometimes through ConvertKit as well. And then that sales page is hooked to my payment processor and thank you page and the delivery process that's usually taken care of through Kajabi. And once I've tested all this out as a dummy customer, I want to make sure that my emails are delivering correctly and they're sending me to the right sales page. And if I click through the sales page, it goes to the correct checkout page and I'm actually able to buy the product and it actually sends me to the correct course page. And once I've made sure to check everything out and dummy tested everything, I'm ready to launch this to my audience. I usually tend to launch with a deadline of some sort. I tend to use discounts a lot, sort of early bird discounts or launch discounts of some sort. Sometimes I have a bonus bundle that I offer for people that buy within a certain time period. It's always good to have some form of scarcity to drive sales that first week. And then once your sale window or launch window has closed, you can collect feedback from both people that have bought the course or bought your product so that you can get to know what they want more of or what they liked and didn't like. And then also make sure to survey the people that didn't buy because they may give you some interesting information about why they didn't buy, some objections that you may be able to overcome in your marketing messaging at a later date. So to recap, that is my product launch process in a nutshell. I start by surveying my audience for golden nuggets that I need to create a product that people want. I use the language of my audience to shape the messaging and the product, both on my sales pages and in any other marketing that I use to promote that product. I design multimedia training that's easy to consume and can solve a small problem the fastest way I know how. I stack relevant bonuses that solve side quests that may pop up while they are solving that core problem my product solves. And then I make it look pro with some fancy design, either with a professional designer or by trying to do it yourself if you are design inclined. And then I plug it into my sales system and then I launch the product and collect feedback afterwards. It really is that simple, but it might not be super easy to put all that stuff together. It is work, but it does not have to be soul crushing. When you focus on solving real problems using real language, you are more likely to succeed with your digital products. And they don't have to be perfect. They just have to be helpful, and they just have to get people from point A where they're in pain or have a problem that's annoying them to point B where they've solved that problem and they can move on to the next step on their journey. And remember, the best digital product you have is the one that you actually launch. So if you've got a product in mind, please drop a comment, let me know. I'd love to know what you're working on. I'll help you brainstorm the next step if that's something you're interested in. And if you want my autopilot products masterclass that gives you the 3-week roadmap to help you launch your first digital product, go check that out at BBenediktsson.com. The link is in the description below. And remember, if you found this video helpful, please like and subscribe and hit that notification button so you don't miss another video on online business and digital products. I'm Björk from BBenediktsson. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you later.